Frogs are going extinct. So today we are going to be talking to you about frogs, what they are, what they do, why they're important, how they're going extinct, and what effect that has on the world.
What are frogs? Frogs are amphibians, which are small vertebrae that need a moist environment to survive. There are over 5,000 species of frogs, with more being discovered. They come in a variety of colors and sizes and can be found on every continent except for Antarctica. Frogs typically have two main color schemes. Greenish brown frogs are known for camouflage, while frogs that are brightly colored are poisonous.
So after reviewing what frogs are, we're going to talk a little bit about why they're important. So frogs help limit the amount of greenhouse emissions. They keep the amount of insect infestations down as they eat most of the insects, and they help keep the ecosystem balanced because they're an important part of the food chain because they serve as both a predator and prey, and without them, the ecosystem relying around them would crash. They feed on many pests like mice or insects that infest human homes and consume crops, and they provide food for many other predators. Frogs are also bioindicators, which are organisms that tell or indicate the health of the environment around them. So, by frogs going extinct and suffering, we know that the environment around them is also suffering. And lastly, frogs are used for medical research. Amphibians can secrete numerous different chemicals from their skin, and many of these have been used in pharmaceuticals. For example, a subfamily of frogs can secrete a group of antimicrobial peptides called medusins from their skin, which do not harm blood cells like other chemicals do.
So now we're going to talk about why and how frogs are going extinct. One of the reasons being climate change. Since the global warming is going on, the environment is becoming too warm for frogs to live in. There are a lot of harmful chemicals being introduced into their environment, such as weed killer that humans use, and they get into the waterways that frogs, and it negatively affects them. And they also have thin, porous skins, and that absorbs that water that has pesticides. Deforestation, which basically is like cutting down trees and it takes away their environment, which is also kind of urbanization, which is like taking down trees and building houses over where frogs would usually live. Another thing with deforestation would be building of roads, and they're often put into the middle of habitats which frogs live in, which would split into. And frogs have a hard time like getting across roads, and often species would die trying to migrate across. There are lots of diseases that have developed that are killing off frogs, and they spread across various different species, which is also killing them off. And human invasion. So a lot of frogs are being taken out of their natural habitats and being used as pets, and they're also being used for dissection purposes and wrongful handling.
So, there's a journal about the effect of temperatures on frogs, and scientists Seed, Reyes, Gray, Ahmed, Akron, Gill, and Farid performed this experiment. They involved tadpoles and they wanted to see how it would affect frogs throughout their life. So, first, they started off by putting tadpoles into groups by species and then put those groups of species into different climates. They found that frogs were sensitive to warmer temperatures, and after further analysis, they found that the higher temperatures seemed to have caused a reduction in body size, a faster metamorphosis, which is the process of transformation from an immature to adult, so a tadpole to a frog, and more frequent body deformities, including edema, which is puffiness caused by excess fluid trapped in the body's tissues, which is shown in this picture below. It can also cause tail kinks, lower fitness, and higher mortality. So these findings have been related to climate change patterns and the increase in warmer temperatures in Pakistan, along with the decrease in biodiversity in Pakistan. And because of these correlations, it has been summarized that frogs could go extinct in Pakistan.